Okay, so I'm gonna try to make this quick response video. I think it was three rhinos who left a comment asking me about if I've dealt with anger from being treated badly in the past by people, particularly while on Nofap, and any advice I might have. Well, let's see. First off, yes, I definitely have. It's one of those things. I think again, as I've said in the past, so much of with PMO as a habit is it's essentially like you're trying to push away or hide or run from something. It could be boredom. It could be just, I mean, maybe if you're just horny, I suppose. But for a lot of us, it is just, you have something, some trauma, some bad memories, some pain that you're dealing with, and you're essentially using PMO to cope with that. It's almost like a person who perhaps is like an alcoholic and they're trying to deal with the pain that they're feeling by drinking. Whereas for us, it's PMO. And whenever I've gone on these longer, stretches of NoFap, I definitely had those kind of traumas come back up to the surface, and I've had to face them, whether they took the form of dreams or it was like times where I'd be sitting there and I have like sort of what I call negative thought loops, where I'd be looping over some event or some memory or some pain I felt. And I think for the most part, I've talked about the sadness aspect. I haven't really talked about the anger aspect. Um, but yeah, I've definitely felt anger. But I think I've kind of come to the understanding, and obviously, I'm hoping that I can apply this, myself. That it's not just words, but understanding that it doesn't do me any good, and it's kind of like me hurting myself. Whether it's literally like raised blood pressure, and all the effects it has on your cardiovascular health long term, or it's just mental health, how that affects it, or perhaps how it affects how I interact with other people, coworkers or folks I live with or whoever. That if I'm in a negative mental emotional state, um, I can start acting in such a manner that causes conflict with others who I didn't have conflict before because of something that happened in the past that had nothing to do with them. But sort of learning to be aware of that, aware that hey, I'm just in a negative, thought loop, and I need to get out of that with means other than PMO, obviously. And then, of course, there's this saying that people will say, forgive and forget. But I think it was Aaron Clary who said that, forgive but do not forget. And I think the point of that was, okay, like forgive insofar as you let go of the pain, you let go of what was done to you, but you don't forget the lesson you learned. Whatever that may have been, whether it was, don't trust people so blindly, don't expect to be reciprocated for, doing all these nice things or whatever. Um, don't, I don't know, don't make these, X, Y, Z dumb decisions again. Sort of learn from your mistakes and remember the lesson, let go of the pain, And it's something that, I mean, I'm working my way to actually having that as part of like how I operate, my modus operandi. Um, but that's sort of some advice I would give is, you have to sort of develop awareness um, of the fact that, okay, you're feeling pain, you're treated badly, um, and essentially like you're most likely at a point. I would think if you're thinking about the past, especially if it's like months or years in the past and you're not dealing with those folks anymore, it's sort of like you gotta get to a point, hopefully, where you can accept that that stuff happened. It wasn't right, but at the same time, you have to let it go because you're basically hurting yourself at that point. And but also don't forget the lesson you learned, whatever big like life lesson you gained from that, you know, whatever it was in particular, don't forget that, because if you forget it, then you're likely to end up having the same thing happen again. And so you're like, okay, how many more times do you got to go through it before you learn blah blah blah. So don't forget the lesson, but do work on letting go of the pain. I think the best way for me has been finding something else to work on. I'm really focused on my finances right now. I'm focused on getting my education, taking the next level. I'm focused on building something, and, I definitely see a change for myself from when I graduate to where I'm at right now, because I've got like over a year and a half of distance between that time and now. And I've sort of gotten through a lot of stuff. I've gotten certain milestones passed, certain things accomplished, and I sort of feel that as long as you're doing that sort of thing, you're moving forward in life somehow, then it's sort of like the pain will fade away eventually. And it's not necessarily just, oh, sit there and let time pass. It's like you got to actually be doing something actively to improve your life, such that, you know, um, what you went through doesn't seem like as big of a thing, or as it was like it wasn't the end of the world, because hey, like I got through it. Not only that, I survived it, but look at where I am at now. There are things that, like, I thought recently about some of the stuff that I accomplished financially, like at my last job, including starting to build a stock portfolio. Obviously, I got stock options, and I thought back to like the literal day of graduation. I was looking over at the girl, in question, and the boyfriend was walking up to her, and it was just like, they were just gonna go off and do their thing or whatever, and it was like, I remember the pain I felt. 3.5 years, how much it sucked. But then I thought, hey, year and a half has passed. I paid off all this debt. Yeah, I still have a way to go. I've got stock options in this, rising biotech company, which the stock is going off right now. It's just rising. I just got my degree at this new job, getting paid better. I'm actually, doing something meaningful and purposeful with my life right now. I see my fair share of way more attractive women. Let's just say, just the fact that I know they're out there, in the midst of this, pandemic and all that, I've been pushing forward and, getting further, making progress. And I was kind of like counting all that sort of stuff and going like, yeah, I went through all that pain. It sucked. I have my days where I just get angry thinking about it, thinking about how I was gaslit and how I was treated and how I was stabbed in the back and manipulated and abused and all that. But they couldn't stop me. And I think in a lot of ways, the reason they did it to me was because they saw the potential I had. They didn't want to see me succeed, because they would have, reflected back on them, And sort of looking at it from that perspective, understanding that, developing that awareness, and obviously, like I said, working on something to move yourself forward. I think that's the best advice I could give. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what I have to say. It's about 8 minutes right now. I suppose it's kind of a longish video at this point, so I'm going to finish up. Thanks for your honest for that comment. Hopefully this video that I just put together, helps you or helps anybody else out there who's going through something similar. But I'll see you folks around. You got any other stuff you want me to talk about, content wise? Obviously, nothing. I don't want to put out the disclaimer, nothing extreme, but you know what I'm saying. Anything I could give advice on, guidance or so, with regards to Nofap or something else related to it. Something I actually have some, knowledge or expertise or experience with. Feel free to drop a comment, and I'll look into making a video in response to that. So coming up about 9 minutes now, and I'm going to end this video now and upload it, and I will see you folks around. Thanks. Bye.